why my resident left a successful practice for which he was employed in order to start his own business. So this is his story. Let's talk about the golden handcuffs of medicine. This is Doc Dynasty, committed to power, profit, and independence for physicians. And I'm Dr. Poe Raval, 36 years in private practice. So 2 years into a practice I heard everything about when he was a resident. He got the position, and 2 years later, he came back and he said, I have to tell you something. I left. So the golden handcuffs of medicine. High income, he was hired for a very high entry to chief resident at a very good hospital, but had no freedom. He was on call every third day as if he were a resident. He had that income, but he had no freedom to even enjoy it with his family. His income was tied to a very regimented bonus plan and review plan. So no freedom, lots of income, found himself trading time for money. So what is freedom worth? That's what I'm going to ask you. He definitely took it to pay off whatever student loans he had, which is great move. You start from scratch. And 2 years into this practice, he felt himself burning out. So after, as many of you can relate to, after your residency and your fellowship already, you're tired. You now have to start a family, maybe get a home, this and that, adding to your financial burden. You take these positions, you pay off your student debt, all the money's coming in. But 2 years later, I'm looking at him and he looks like he's 10 years older. So what did he do? On the side, he started negotiating with his employer and said, listen, I'm burning out. I can't stay like this. This is what I want to do. They worked out a deal that at least 10 miles apart, he could start some level of a social media presence. So location also, but he started his social media presence first. And he built the presence on what he saw the present employment was missing. Didn't make it that obvious to his employer, but he started to build a following on social media, talking about the things that were missing in this very valuable practice that he was working for, and very busy practice. By doing that over the course of almost 6 months, he developed a following. He then put out an offer and started collecting emails that one day he could market if he left, keeping his employer in the loop that he started the social media presence, which I'm sure the employers could have looked at. All of a sudden, he had the feeling of independence, whether he was going to leave or not. 6 months later into the employment contract, he asked for personal time, independent time, told them that he wanted to act on some of this social media presence, and they negotiated that 10-mile location. He had found a practice that he could share with another medical professional and start. And so what he did was, on the days that he had time off, starting Saturdays, he started to build that practice. 2 years into the employment contract, renegotiation. What unbelievably happened was he had built up enough of an audience with items and work plans that were not being offered in his primary employment, that he negotiated with his boss that this is what I built up. These are services that you don't offer. And his employer made him a deal to keep him in the practice, and they would now have 2 locations, and he would work his new location. So this is the ultimate success story, because you not only are keeping your employment to some extent, they changed hours and dollar amounts, but you now have independence and freedom to start your own practice and work it out with your employer that you would be offering different services than the other practice. So I wanted to give this to you guys as a service model, that you do not have to sacrifice your time for freedom or your time for independence. There is a way to work things out. Keep your employers in the loop. You'd be surprised at what they don't want to do, which is usually social media, and how you can help out a practice and add to a practice. Hope this helps. Follow for more.